Tatiana Mitrova joins me now from the Russian Academy of Science. Thank you so much for taking the time. Tell us, how important do you think these outlooks are, the combined outlooks coming from the IEA and OPEC through the International Energy Forum?
I think that's a really great initiative to make such a comparative analysis of the different outlooks, and I hope probably one day our global and Russian energy outlook will join this great company. And I mean, this comparison of the methodological approaches, comparison of the main findings of the outlooks, it really gives you the understanding. Because if you have just the figures, it doesn't tell you what is inside this black box. So I think that IEF has really initiated the great process when the best analysts from all over the world are comparing their approaches and their underlying assumptions and the way how they are assessing future. So today, for example, we were talking about assessment of the different risks. So whether it is possible to implement in the outlooks all these black swans, all these unexpected changes, all these breakthroughs in the technologies and market organization. These are really challenging questions for the companies, for the governments, actually for all of us citizens who are consuming energy. And therefore, I think if we keep this dialogue ongoing, if we bring more and more participants from the other parts of the world, if we make it really a consistent process, that would be great.
Now tell me, you also presented today too. Tell me a little bit about your particular presentation.
So I was telling the story about our global and Russian energy outlook, which is focusing on the global trends and their consequences for the Russian energy sector, which is very important for our country, as you know. And our approach is a bit different from the other outlooks. We have 3 scenarios, and we are looking at the different risk assumptions. So not only case as usual, everything is going smoothly, but also different challenges and critical scenarios and disruptions and so on. So that gives you a wider range of potential outcomes, and this is also showing the sustainability of the whole system. We were looking at the liquid market in particular, and this is probably the most interesting part of the story here. Again, we see very controversial trends. So on one hand, we do not foresee any peak oil demand before 2040 globally, but we see it forthcoming in several parts of the world, in OECD, in China, in India. So this makes the market quite controversial. So some parts of the world are increasing their demand, the others will start to decline, and finding balance in this moving market, that's really the challenge for all oil producers and for Russia in particular.
And of course, as you said, you know, the energy outlook important for Russia, but again, Russia's energy outlook very much important for the rest of the world. OPEC obviously very, very happy that they're on board now with this decision in terms of the OPEC, non-OPEC agreement. And again, do you find when you look at the energy market, the strength that's coming back, particularly into the oil price, do you hope that this, perhaps when you look forward in your projections, that this will be sustained? The market really needs to see more strength in it for a sustained period, really.
So it was not an easy decision for Russia actually to join this production freeze, because right now is exactly the moment when Russia started to increase its production after a period of plateau. And now it has to cut, but we made this decision understanding that otherwise, the losses are too big and they are unsustainable for all the producers. In the longer term, Russian oil production is set to decline simply because of the resource-based depletion. And it's the case actually for many parts of the world. Therefore, we foresee after these very turbulent times right now, when actually the supply is higher than demand and we have these incredible stocks, but this gap will actually disappear in, according to our estimation, like a year and a half approximately, and then actually we are facing problem of undersupply. So according to all our modeling, by 2020 we see already price increase, not of course to $140 per barrel, but our probable scenario is $70 per barrel. I know forecasting oil prices is a bad exercise because you are never right, but it is indicating the trend. In order to match growing demand, we need more and more oil coming from more remote and difficult places. And assuming all these investment cuts that we are observing right now, there will be some need for additional investments and more expensive fields.
And we hope that comes on board sooner rather than later. Thank you so much for taking the time.
Thank you. It was a pleasure.